Hello and welcome again for the first round of Season 4 here in the FVR GT League. I think we should now hopefully be live. There we go, I can see it on my phone. My name is Nathan, your commentator for this evening, bringing you the action from Dragon Trail Gardens, the opening round of the FVR GT Season 4 League. We've had a bit of an extension built to the commentary box because this season, one of the drivers from the last season has made his way up into the commentary box, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Sorry, hi guys. Yeah, Xavier Maynard used to be driving for BCR on the grid. Made the transition to the commentary box this season and looking forward to it alongside Natty. And I haven't actually seen the race, so yeah, looking forward to how this one plays out as well.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have some company for once. And these drivers have some company on the grid as well in terms of their fellow rivals and as well, of course, their teammates. But let's run through how they lined up after the 10-minute qualifying, a change to qualifying this season. We now have tyre wear and fuel depletion and just an added element into that session. My phone's not loading, so I won't get the lap times up as soon as we go through the grid, but I'll hopefully get that done afterwards. Kino in the Nissan GTR starts in the back of the pack in that Red Bull themed Nissan, down in 10th place. It's one of the Proyecto Uno cars in the Mazda. I believe it is Ruben in 9th. Apologies if I'm wrong. My phone, of course, is having a fit when I'm trying to do anything important. Sorry, no, it was Dominic in 9th with a 1 minute 33.3. Ahead of him, car number 94, Kian, starts in 8th place behind the other Mazda Vision GT of Ruben, the Spaniard, starting in 7th. In 6th place is myself, joining BCR, replacing my fellow co-commentator, funnily enough. Back in the BMW M6 after a season in the Lamborghini Huracan. Cameron Hill's made the transition from Lexus to Audi this year. He makes his way into the top 5 with a lap time in the 32s. In the 31s, though, my teammate, your former teammate, James Kidwell, starts 4th place now in the Lexus from the Mercedes, and ahead of him in the Audi R8. My former teammate, Piero, starts in 3rd place with a 1:31.8, only 0.03 quicker than your former teammate. The front row of the grid, though, is the McLaren 650S of Maurizio Veldhuis in 2nd place, 0.5 slower than our pole sitter, our reigning world champion, back in the Lexus. It's Jenson Taylor, in a position that he is very familiar with, the front row of the grid and pole position for the Croatian Grand Prix. And that's how the 10 drivers line up on the grid tonight. Any final words from my fellow co-commentator, Zav, before we get started?
Oh, none actually. It's impressive to see Tiger back up into the top 5, to be fair. That's good to see. The real question is, can anyone stop Jenson Taylor? Let's go to 5 red lights, shall we?
We'll have to wait and see. 32 laps will determine whether anyone can... Oh, I forgot to say go. Are you ready? Of course. The race is not live. So we will get the lights turned on in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Here for 32 laps of Dragon Trail Sea Tires to kickstart Season 4 of the FVR GT season. And we go green in the gardens of Dragon Trail. It's a good start from the front row of the grid from Mbada Big, who moves his way alongside Jenson Taylor and nearly into the lead of the race. In the shortest run down towards turn 1, the Lexus will try and swoop its way around the outside of the McLaren 650, but Maurizio Veldhuis keeps his foot in on the inside, but Jenson Taylor swoops round the outside up into the lead of the race behind the car running wide through turn 1. I think that was Kino in 8th place. It's Jenson who leads them through the chicane sausages, and behind a couple of drivers going side by side, both Mazdas up to a good start. And what's happened to Piero? He's off into the grass. Might be an early issue for the Frenchman as the leaders go down to the hairpin at turn 10, and I think that's Piero out of this race with a potential internet issue, it seems.
That seems like it's a problem there. He had a poor start for line, lost a bunch of positions going into turn 1. We've got another crash in the background there as well. That's the Nissan there. At the back, started 10th and down in last at the minute now, and now going back up towards the front here. We've got Tigers making a couple positions on that one, yourself as well, Natty, up into 4th place, overtaking Piero as we enter now this lovely reverse turn 8 style corner into the final sector. And as you can already see, Taylor has got a massive lead here, absolutely decimating the field on lap 1. Veldhuis in 2nd place, being chased down by Kidwell and Marriott in 4th, Gibinski in 5th with I'm going to assume that is Correo.
Yes, it is.
As we round the final corner now back down onto the main straight. This Mazda does sound absolutely fantastic, it has to be said as well.
It does. It's one of the best sounding cars of the grid, especially when it's running alongside or behind you. You can certainly hear it close on the track. Jenson Taylor, though, extending his lead at the start of this race, having qualified on pole position. The only driver to start on the soft compound tyres here. The rest of the drivers behind him opting for that yellow striped medium, going longer in this race. Jenson looking for a bit of a quick start to this one to try and pull away from the cars behind. Maurizio Veldhuis has pulled out a little bit of a gap to the two BCR cars behind. Kidwell leading his teammate in the run down towards turn 10. And it's the two Mazdas behind Proyecto Uno in 5th and 6th place, hunting down the blue BCR cars.
Perfect, yeah, and this is a classic strategy here from Taylor. He knows he has the pace to get on those soft tyres at the beginning of the race and just absolutely disappear off into the distance. He can be untouchable at times, but we'll see if his strategy works out for him. There's always a chance that his soft tyres wear out a lot faster than the guys behind him through the medium high speed middle sector that we have here in Dragon Trail Gardens. It's going to be interesting to see how those tyres hang on, but if anyone can look after them, it's going to be Taylor.
Yeah, the Lexus we saw last season suffered a little bit with front tyre wear compared to his championship rival Atto Timgren, who was driving the Porsche last season. Not here this year as a main driver, he's only signed up as a reserve, so we'll have to wait and see whether anyone else can bring the title challenge to Taylor as he starts lap 3 of this race with a commanding lead. So that's a new fastest lap of the race on those soft compound tyres. We'll have to wait and see how this race evolves. Like you say, the tyre wear around here is pretty heavy, especially through the front right tyre suffers a lot through turn 1 and the final corner. Two long, prolonged left-handers. We'll have to wait and see how those on the soft compound tyres fare up.
Yeah, just to put that lap from Taylor in perspective, it's 1.6 seconds quicker than Veldhuis in second place. He is disappearing right now, but we're going to have to wait and see how this battle turns out. We've got Kidwell and Veldhuis, so they had a lot of run-ins last season over the course of the year. Let's see if they have a few unsettled scores to get done on track here at the moment. Marriott still very close behind here, though, in 4th place, keeping his new teammate honest at this early stage in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, it has to be said as well, it's quite interesting to see with the car selection we've got this season. Some yellow flags up ahead. That's Jenson Taylor round, and he's got engine damage, front bumper and suspension damage. He's lost it on the exit of turn 15, I believe it is.
And just when he was looking invincible, untouchable, Taylor has made a mistake and drops down into 3rd place. Veldhuis now leads. Marriott overtakes him as well, still nursing that engine damage. Going to get done by both of the Mazdas as well here. Going to go down from the lead to 6th place. And on that alternate strategy now, Natty has a lot of work to do to repair the damage from that very costly mistake. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a race here now. We have a race. It's going to get interesting.
We certainly have got a race on our hands. The reigning world champion, with a rare mistake, it has to be said, 4 laps into this race, finds himself now down into 6th place. I believe he dropped a wheel over the curb and onto that red AstroTurf that lies on the outside of that corner. He's already looking to move up places but can't quite get past the Spaniard down and towards turn 2. But he's now got some work to do. Fortunately for him, he's on that soft compound tyre. He's still got a little bit of life left in it to try and make his way back through the pack and up into the lead of the race.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the crossover period is now between the softs and the mediums. Obviously, Taylor, I don't know, stop it. He goes for a move actually on the Mazda. Can he maple it off? No, he can't. But the Spaniard runs right. He's going to get the overlap on the inside. They're going to run side by side now into the middle sector. Can he make this move stick on the inside? Taylor gets the move done. Does he? Sticks on the outside. They're still door to door. Around the outside, they're still battling. This is absolutely fantastic. Taylor moves up into 5th place with a determined overtake there from the Englishman. He now sets his sights after the second Mazda in his bid to repair the damage from that early mistake. So this now puts Veldhuis in a very comfortable position. He's kind of comfortable at the moment from attack in terms of the Lexus behind him. So we have to see how this one plays out as well. Looking at his tyres, it's taking care of him a little bit better than the Lexus. I think you were saying earlier that they have a bit of a front tyre wear issue. So that's going to play out as well over the course of this race. But Kabinski now coming under pressure from your reigning world champion in towards turn number 1. Let's have a look here up the inside. Notes going to try and set him up into the cheekily dubbed chicane of sausages. There's Kabinski now on the inside. Taylor's going to go for the outside line. Does he switch it back? No, it doesn't. Sticks behind for the time being. So now you have to be very careful with these curves. Just make sure you don't take them too much. He's going to have a run here, actually, on the inside, on the traction. And he's going to get the move done, is he? Yes, he is. Up into 4th place now, Jensen Taylor. Sets his sights after the 2 PCR cars. But Kabinski's coming back at him. He's not going to let him have it easy, or can't pull it off, though. Those soft tyres still look like they're giving him a pretty serious advantage at this early stage in the race.
Yeah, good move from Jensen. He got it done before turn 5, not turn 10. I was looking at a track map from Dragon Trail Gardens backwards. So that is the hairpin at turn 5. And this is where he lost it a couple of laps ago. And Dominic's nearly done the same thing. A massive slide on the exit of the corner for the Mazda. Nearly just running wide over that curb. Like you say, though, Maurizio with a semi-comfortable lead in this race. He can't afford to lift off the throttle too much because he's still got 2 cars in close proximity behind. But Jensen Taylor, though, has nearly found himself back onto a podium position. He's got one more car to pass before he makes himself back up into the top 3. But how much time has he got left on those soft compound tyres? And interestingly as well, strategy tonight, we haven't talked about it too much. Will we see the one-stop in play between the soft and the medium, soft and the hard, or will we see drivers try something for a 2-stop here at this quite high tyre deg circuit?
Yeah, judging by Jensen's Taylor tyres, a one-stop's going to be very difficult for the driver to pull off. He actually gets on the grass going into turn 2. So he is in hot pursuit of, you, Natty, as we come now through turn 4 and down the back straight. Can he make a move here? How defensive does Natty play this? It's going to be interesting to see as they make their way down in towards the hairpin. Does Taylor go for a move up the inside? No, it sticks behind him for now. The two Mazdas are very close together, but no one making a move there. The teammates being perfectly respectful of each other there. Nice to see. And just going back up here now to Veldhuis, who's 33.1 last lap compared to a 33.1 for Tiger. So Tiger actually matching the leading pace at the minute. See if he can start making some inroads as this race develops further. Natty almost gets over the curb there. And Taylor's going down the inside, is he, into the Turkey turn 8 style corner. And they're going to go wheel to wheel, door to door now, down through this right-hander, like triple apex right-hander. Natty manages to stay ahead on those medium tyres. So maybe Taylor starting to suffer a bit now of his tyre wear. As it comes in towards the final corner, Taylor has another look. And he has another look. Thought about it, backed out, thought about it again. Natty pulls off again around the outside, though. So, again, I think that Taylor's tyres might be giving up the ghost a bit here. That mistake may have cost him a bit more than we thought.
Yeah, 33.7 for Taylor. Of course, he is battling with myself going now through turn 1. It's quite refreshing, actually, having to not commentate on my own personal battles. Jensen nearly running wide onto the grass through turn 1. That's another corner where you can find yourself at the scene of the accident, as is this one at turn 4. We've had a couple of drivers tonight, well, last night actually, have a few offs there. The two Mazdas going side by side, Dominic and Ruben going side by side down the back straight. In front of them as well, Jensen on the inside of myself going in towards turn 5. Count the Lexus, send it on the inside of the BMW. They nearly touch at the apex, but Jensen now moves his way up into a podium position, and Ruben gets past his teammate up into 5th place. The best sounding car on the grid, 2 of them as well, nose to tail in the early stages of this race.
Absolutely wonderful to see here, and Kabinski gives another look up the inside, but can't get the move done on his teammate. Taylor there with a crucial move, putting himself now up to the podium positions, back into contention for the overall race lead. Let's see now what his pace is like on these aged soft tyres and how quickly he has to come into the pits. It's going to be very interesting to see how the strategy plays out here. He might have to go medium towards the end of this race. If he has to go for the 2-stop, maybe a set of the hards to get to the end, but they're going to be very, very dicey in terms of pace. He's already caught up visually massively to Kidwell now as he come over the line to start lap 8, checking the pace out in front, 32.6 from Maurizio Veldhuis. He has a slide actually into turn 1, really really pushing the limits of that McLaren 650S. 33.4 now for Tiger, so starting to get gapped a little bit to the cars in front, and the 32.3 for Taylor. So still, even on those soft tyres, about 1.1 seconds quicker than his fellow Lexus in front.
Yeah, I think Jensen's only got a couple laps at best left on those soft compound tyres. We haven't talked much about degradation. It is quite high at this circuit. Obviously the tyre wear is quite high as well, and it's quite a technical circuit here, Dragon Trail Guard. He's got a lot of twists and turns in the middle sector that really need the grip from those front tyres to find performance. Jensen, though, still finding a little bit of grip left on those soft compound tyres, catching up to the other Lexus on the grid in front of them. It is getting a little bit overcast early on in this race. Of course, we can have that element of a shower here at Dragon Trail. That could throw a huge spanner in the works in terms of strategy if it were to rain in this race.
Well, it's looking...
Oh, we've got a car round. Keno, is off before the Turkey Turn 8 star corner. He's I think had a similar crash to what Jensen Taylor had on lap 3 of this race. The Nissan now facing in the right direction, but he suffered a bit of rear damage to that bumper.
Oh, hang on, he's got off again there. Really struggling is the Dutchman in the Nissan. I think just shows to show how easy that mistake is to make there. I mean, we've seen the reigning world champion already do it. Speaking of which, he's all over the back of his fellow Lexus now, going into the chicane de la sausage. Is he going to have a look up the inside? No, can't make it happen here. He's going to go over the curb here. Going to have to play it so carefully, and those soft tyres now really wearing down all over the back of the blue BCMR Lexus. Can he make this move stick in towards the hairpin? Tiger's not going to go defensive, is he? He's going to have a look. He's going to go for the dive bomb down the inside. And what a move that was by Taylor. Absolutely fantastic. Goes up into second place. Let's see if he can chase down Bada Big, or if this rain actually does hit the track.
Yeah, he's got one more position to gain before he's back up into the lead of the race, although I don't think he's got many laps left on those soft compound tyres. Going through the corner, he lost it 6 laps ago, but he's made his way through there cleanly on this occasion, having made the move on my teammate, your former teammate, James Kidwell, who's running very strongly in third place. Didn't have the best of seasons last time out, kind of was battling to get into the top 5 and around about the bottom half of the top 10. But he's found a new car this season in terms of the Lexus RCF, and it's doing him pretty well. Jensen dives over into the pits, or is he? Because he's missed the entry. He crossed over the white line on the pit lane entry and forces himself to stay out. Otherwise, he would have taken a 3-second time penalty for darting over that white line. That's allowed James to try and swoop round the outside through turn 1. Can he make this one stick? Taylor has him covered off. Maybe a little look down the inside for the BCR driver in towards turn 2, but the driver in second place has him covered off for now.
Yeah, it's a really nice opportunistic driving there by James. You were saying before, having a much better start to this season than for the last couple of seasons here in FVR. Definitely finding comfort in that Lexus so far at the moment. But Taylor there, another costly mistake in this one, to be fair. Would not want to stay out for another lap on those tyres. They do look very, very heavily worn. So again, just a little mistake adding up to another disadvantage there for the former world champion. Kidwell now keeping him honest though in third place, doing a very, very good job. Has to be said, as behind one of the Project Uno cars picks up a half a second penalty. And I know how annoying those are late in this game. Yeah, see how that affects him now.
It's quite easy to pick up half a second penalty, especially through the first chicane, if you try and take as much of the inside curb as you can to maximise the lap time you can gain from that section of corners. But in doing so, you risk picking up a half second time penalty. By staying out, Jensen risks getting a puncture to the front light, kind of force his hand in crossing over the white line. This time he might take the final corner a little bit cautiously, lifting off the throttle at the apex of the final corner. This time does make it within the white line, and the Lexus is the first of the drivers to pit in this race off of the soft compound tyres on lap 10. Can the mediums go 22 laps to the end though?
Let's see, because as you were saying earlier, Nancy, it can rain at this track as well. Let's see if that plays into the strategy here. Is it going to be a set of the medium compound? It's going to be, yes, it is going to be a set of the medium compound tyres and no extra fuel for Taylor. So you might have to refuel at the end of this race, but comes back out now into 8th place in a bit of clear air. He can now push now and catch up to the back of Cameron Hill in the Audi. Has been not a great day for Audi Sport here at the racetrack. One of the cars went out a back wall and Cameron's had a crash at the exact same corner where Pierre went off after having his connection failure in lap 1. Cameron Hill now just confirms that the R8 is definitely not like that corner at all, and has a mistake there over the chicane of Sausages. Taylor now up into 7th place, a little drift on the exit, just some style points as well. Speaking of points, the driver scoring maximum points so far from this race is Mauricio Veldhuis, still out here on that same compound of medium tyres he started the race on, leading by a distance from James Kidwell and Nathaniel Marriott behind the 2 VCR cars. I think we've entered, I'm going to use my famous phrase here now, so we've entered a bit of a lull here. We'll have to see how things develop. If in case anyone's watching the Miami Sprint, something very dramatic's just happened. In case you are, but there you go.
No one's watching the Miami Sprint. Everyone's tuning
Everyone's
in to
watching
the
this.
FVR GT as opposed to the Formula 1. But 17 minutes into the new season, his commentary debut and the lull has already been used.
It has. It definitely has.
Rather than having its effect in Dragon Trail, it's in Croatia. It's had its effect in Miami as, well, no spoilers, but someone has entered the barrier.
Actually is, yeah.
In the Formula 1. And the sprint hasn't even started yet in the F1. So,
but the lull apparently is transcontinental.
as effective as ever, for those of you who are unaware of the lull. Every time Zav and I have done commentary, he has used that particular word when the racing action on track begins to fade out a little bit, and within 5 laps time someone finds himself in a barrier or without a wheel.
Usually happens, yeah.
In this case, someone's lost the front wing.
20 seconds, isn't it? No,
yeah,
5
pretty
seconds
much.
in like Monza, yeah. And that was the record. Natty, you have a half-second penalty, mate. What happened there?
It's not ideal. We didn't have to mention that, but of course, I think that must have been from the sausage chicane, I imagine, on lap 12 or 32. Tyre wear starting to kick in for some of these drivers more than others. The McLaren a little bit more to the rears than the Lexus behind, but that Lexus with a little bit more tyre wear to the front of its car. Of course, the McLaren's a little bit more planted on the rear, so it almost makes sense that its its rear tyres a little bit more than the Lexus that goes through its fronts. Behind the BMW, of course, chewing through its tyres. As always, the 2 Mazdas behind are keeping up nicely with the top 3. They've just drifted off a little bit. Fun fact as well, Ruben in 5th, he might no longer be in 5th for much longer because he's side by side with Dominic, his teammate, down the back straight, in the run down towards turn 5. Can the Spaniard get himself up into 4th place? Going to do his best on the inside. Dominic brakes late round the outside. Ruben brakes later on the inside. Drifting his way on the exit of the corner, and they're going to go side by side now, up the hill into the middle sector. Dominic with the inside. Ruben's going to try and hold it right round the outside, has the inside for turn 7, and the Spaniard does get himself up into 4th place. And the fun fact I was going to mention is that Ruben races in VR.
Really? Fair enough.
So really is getting that true driving experience here inside the cockpit. We can ride on board with him to see almost what he is seeing in his rear view mirrors. His teammate behind, and not too far behind him, is Kian in 6th place.
Yeah, I was going to say, aren't these two are giving us a show, but it is now costing them time to the Mercedes behind, and indeed to Taylor on those fresh medium compound of tyre. So this is going to be where our next battle is out on track, it looks like. The 2 BCR cars have slightly disappeared up the road, and they are also fairly spaced apart. Let's see now how quickly Taylor can clear these cars. He wants to be in with a shot of winning this race. Still, he's going to have to get these moves done and get them done quickly.
And yeah, he's on those fresh medium compound tyres. The first one might be coming in towards turn 2, round the outside of Kian. Can he make this one stick? He's going to keep his foot in. Swoops round the outside of the Mercedes, has the inside for turn 3. Uses a lot of the inside curb, but manages to stabilise that Lexus. 1 down, 2 to go before he clears the traffic on track. that traffic in front of him, though. They're going side by side once again. Oh, the Proyecto Uno cars. Dominic on the inside of his teammate, down and towards turn 5.
Oh.
Demotes Ruben down into 5th place, but goes a little bit deep. Ruben gets the drive on the exit of the corner, and it's deja vu from the lap before, but this time Dominic gets ahead before turn 7, and in the background Cameron Hills picks up a half a second time penalty.
Well, no team orders down here at Proyecto Uno. The two cars giving it absolutely everything. Here comes Taylor though now. He smells blood in the water. Going to go round the outside into the Triple Apex Turkey turn 8 corner. Go round the outside of what is he? Is he going to hang around the outside, keeps his foot in it? The Spaniard sees him coming, pushes him out wide. He's going to go for a double overtake here. Down the back straight in towards the final corner. Kabinski goes defensive. They're going to go 3 wide into the final corner. Here we go. As in the middle, Taylor now switches it back to the inside. Can he get alongside the pole? Pushes him out onto the grass. Kabinski goes off. Taylor stays on the track and keeps a position. But now I'm very sorry I forgot his name, but the other Mazda now goes through on the inside, as I think Taylor actually gives that position back to Kabinski. Yes, he does good sportsmanship there from your former world champion.
Yes, it's Ruben in 4th place, the other Mazda ahead of Kian in the Mercedes, who's done well to slot himself up into 5th place. Jensen's wasting no time in getting that move done up into 6th place. Cleany now gets past Dominic, who I think might be starting to struggle a little bit on those medium compound tyres, but in getting up into 6th place, ooh, he's picked up a half-second time penalty for taking too much of that inside curb, and that's going to hinder his charge through the field. Once again, it's been quite a roller coaster of a race for our current world champion. It was a rarity to see mistakes from him last season. Hasn't quite hit the ground running as such this time out in Dragon Trail.
Yeah, definitely not the start to the season that he certainly would have wanted. Now has that half-second penalty, will probably drop him back behind Kabinski in the grand scheme of things now as we go towards half-race distance. We'll get towards half-race distance either way. Right in the back of the Mercedes, but we'll be taking that penalty there. Yep, and does so. And now we'll have to reset and go after Ducky again as we enter the final corner of the lap. I'm going to come back up here to Veldvoice, who has been controlling this race. We've not really spoken about him so far. We're doing an excellent job here, just continuing to extend that gap now back to Kidwell behind. Just see him entering the chicane of sausages there in the background. Actually, it's a lovely establishing shot as the McLaren heads now down in towards the hairpin. And just thinking about the calendar here, Natty, were we saying this is going to be quite a decent track for the Lex, or are there better ones coming down the pipeline, do you think?
I think there are certain characteristics of this racetrack that do suit the strengths of the Lexus. Of course, it's got that technical middle sector that comes into the hands of the Lexus's a good front end. But as well, the McLaren, it's a nice stable car that can really ride the curves through the first sector.
Well, speaking of turning, Taylor's absolutely been able to get that turn in done there and dive bomb Ducky into the hairpin. He's now actually not that far behind the two Proyecto Uno, Correo, in the Proyecto Uno Mazda here as they enter the final sector. And by extension, is actually not too far behind the two PCR cars. There is still hope in this race yet. You were saying, ooh.
Jensen Taylor nearly losing it again on the entry to the Turkey turn 8 corner, running very wide, losing him a little bit of time. Done well to keep the car going in a straight line, but it's these small mistakes that are starting to add up for the Brits that might cost him with a chance of winning this race, or as it stands, a finish on the podium.
Yeah, certainly. A surprisingly scruffy racer, actually, from Taylor, but still, as we just say, just reaching half-race distance. But we say it's been scruffy, but you just saw there in the shot, second place is only just going into turn 1 there, and Taylor has already made a pit stop in this race. So, provided it stays dry, it could still be promising for the defending champion.
Yes, we'll have to wait and see how this race unfolds. Of course, all the drivers in front of Jensen are yet to make a pit stop, and when they do, it's likely at this stage of the race it will be for a one-stop onto that soft compound tyre, and they will be setting quick lap times at the end of this race. Ruben is now under pressure from our reigning world champion, who beat Ate Timgren in the last race of the season last season to the title, which means that we have retained this kind of a Formula E style stat We've had a new world champion every season for the first 3 seasons of FVR GT. Jensen trying his best to defend that title, but finds himself in 5th place here at the season opener. How long will he stay in 5th place? Because he's all over the back of Ruben, down and towards turn 9. Can he do it round the outside of the Turkey turn 8? He's going to do his best on those fresher medium compound tyres. Swoops right round the outside of the Mazda. That's a beautiful overtake up into 4th place. And now he can see the podium in sights up in front, going through the penultimate corner.
We need to find out what corner number that is actually is. You can't just keep calling it the Turkey turn 8 corner. Although the Turkey turn 8 is a fantastic corner.
I think it's 9, 10, 11 and 12.
9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, cool. We'll go with that for now. None of the numbers are even 8.
It's nearly turn 8. We just need one less corner.
It's almost, yeah, exactly. If we just like flattened out chicane and sauce, just had like a massive run down into the head, and there you go. That takes care of the issue. Oh, he's on the grass.
Jensen really pushing it here through
really
turn
pushing.
1. He's demonstrated several times in this race that he's not afraid to push the limits of that car. Sometimes he's pushed it a little bit too far in the form of the exit of turn 8 on lap 3. Like you were saying a while ago now, we haven't talked much about Maurizio Veldhuis, but he has led the most laps in this race, is controlling the field from the front, is yet to win a race in FVR GT, has picked up 4 podiums, 2 seconds, 2 thirds. Can he add one first to that collection? His last podium was 2 races ago at Monza last season.
Well, what's actually interesting to see here is that the boot's kind of on the other foot now in terms of tyre, where we've got Taylor now on much... Oh, and someone's had a crash. Is that Dougie's had a crash there at the top of the hill? It is. Spins it back. No, that's the wrong way. Does a little donut, little pirouette, gets back pointing the right way again, and he recovers from that spin. But as I was saying earlier, we've now had the boot on the other foot now. Taylor on the much fresher tyres, chasing down. Oh, as Natty comes into the pits, Mary into the pits. And this should be for a set of the softs, you'd imagine. We've seen that the mediums can go about half race distance here. So, sorry. Let's set the mediums for Marriott would mean a 2-stop. Let's see what tyres he goes on to then. The PCR car looking lovely, if I do say so myself, assuming that I designed it. Natty now coming out of the pits on the hards. That's interesting. Okay, so Natty going for a 1-stop here on the hard compound tyre. For those of you who don't know, you haven't played GT7 before.
Oh, yellow flags! Jensen Taylor's off. Sorry to interrupt you, but the reigning world champion's got off again, and he's out. His car vanishes from the circuit. The reigning world champion will score no points in the season opener. A mistake on the exit of turn 4, and he's out.
He's out of the race. And just like that, the race gets blown wide open here. So the reigning world champion, the last person to win a race in FVR, Deep Forest, is now out of the race. That means now this race between Kidwell, between Veldhuis and Carreo, Carreo, go with that, in 3rd place, or Ruben, I'm going to call him Ruben, in 3rd place, is now for the overall top 3 positions. High drama here as the lull actually hits Jensen Taylor, and he retires from the first race of the season, not the way he wanted to start his championship defending campaign, but now that puts Veldhuis in a perfect spot. Oh, as Ruben comes into the pits now, off those medium compound tyres, does he go to set of the hards? Are we going to see a change up in strategies here as he makes his way down pit lane? I just want to hear the sound of this Mazda idling, to be honest. And bolts on a fresh set of tyres, does go for the refuel. Obviously the refueling speed slowed down this season, so fuel management a bit more important. Another set of the medium, that's a 2-stop then for Ruben in the Mazda. That is a confirmed 2-stopper for Proyecto Uno.
Yeah, of course you have to use 2 different tyres during the course of a race, otherwise you'll be given a 60-second time penalty after the race. We had one incident last season where someone failed to oblige that rule, but apart from that, it's been fair, clean sailing from there. The lull has made its way from Miami over to Croatia, and our second retirement of the race. A bit of a shock, actually, to see the reigning world champ not make such a strong start to the season, like he's showed last season when he made his debut, whatever the race was after Spain. It will come to me. It was round 2. I can't remember.
As Natty thinks about that, we're going to come back to the on-track action. All of our cars fairly spaced out at the moment. Now waiting for the first round of pit stops to be complete. It's going to be interesting to see here which tyres Kidwell goes on to. Does he try and make this one-stop work, go for the soft tyres, and try to maybe undercut the car in front? Looking at the tyre where Veldhuis has done a better job looking after his tyres, and that McLaren Skibinski now comes into the pits. We'll see what tyres this is for. Making his way now down pit lane, the Progetto crew there, getting ready to service one of their cars. Into the pits he comes now. Old tyres go off. Fresh tyres go on, air jacks down, and he goes for the refuel as well. So this could be to the end of the race. And is it going to be? It is going to be a set of the mediums. It doesn't. Oh no, set of the soft. Sorry, he does match his teammate and go for the soft. Goes inverse to his teammate. Even goes for the soft set of tyres. And now, will he be able to get to the end? That's 11 laps on a set of the soft, similar to the stint that we saw Jensen pull off. It's a long way to go here for the pole in the Mazda. Yeah, so, Natty, how are you feeling about your decision to go on the hards at this point in time?
I was hoping we wouldn't come back to that after Jensen's incident, but the tyre wear in the BMW was it's too much to take the soft compound tyres to the end of the race. And in my position, it felt comfortable in third at the time to go onto the hard compound tyres. And of course, it is the season opener, the first race of the season since the massive BOP update that changed the way these Group 3 cars handle. Our race leader is into the pits.
Oh, and Kidwell comes in behind him.
Follows him in. We saw Jensen take soft tyres 10 laps, 1 lap more than he wanted to. But we've 11 laps to go to the end of the race, and on half a tank of fuel, our front 2 should be able to take the soft compound tyres to the end. Cameron follows them in from third.
And just interesting to note here, Veldhuis is putting in a lot more fuel than Kidwell in the Lexus. Maybe some consumption issues in the McLaren, or maybe a slight overfuel. That's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out now for the top 3. Maybe Tiger can use his weight advantage to get that gap closed down and maybe take his first ever win in FVR history here in the Lexus.
Yeah, we talk about his first ever win. He's on for his first podium in FVR. Has finished 4th, I believe, in Season 2, but is yet to stand on a podium spot, and he is putting in a solid shift tonight to achieve his first podium of the season. It's quite we're in a rare scenario in this race where this is probably the least experienced top 3 in terms of podium finishes. Only 7 podiums between our top 3 over 4 seasons of FVR. And well, 7 sounds like a lot. That's less than a season of finishing on the podium.
But actually, it's true. In about 4 wins, I think, between you with one and Veldhuis with 2 or 3.
I know Veldhuis is yet to win a race. I'm the only one.
To win. Oh wow, okay.
Fair enough.
It's going to be interesting.
We've only got 2 drivers actually. Only 2 drivers on this grid have won a race in FVR GT, myself and Cameron. I picked up my win in Grand Valley for Season 2, Cameron in Tokyo in the same season.
Fair enough.
A lot of drivers making their debut, the other yet to win a race. We're going to have a new race winner on our hands if it's to be decided by the top 2 that are the most likely to win this race on those soft compound tyres, unless, of course, the heavens were to open, but the clouds have rather dispersed out. The sun is shining on these drivers as we're down to the final 10 laps of this race.
As that Tiger goes purple through Sector 1 there, really pushing on in that Lexus now. Let's see if we can close that gap up to Veldhuis for the lead of the race. Natty find yourself now in 3rd position, actually under pressure here from Ruben on those medium compound tyres, but still with another stop to make here. So the question is now, when does he go for that second stop? We know he has to make it. He didn't start on the soft compound tyres. He needs to use 2 different compounds of tyre over a Grand Prix distance, otherwise you'll be receiving a 1-minute penalty, which means that in the next 9 laps, 10 laps or so, we're going to see this Mazda into the pits once again. Maybe trying to cause a bit of trouble going on the medium tyres, get ahead of Natty and hold him up. Let his teammate get a bit closer. Could be an interesting play here from Proyecto Uno.
Yeah, well, it's a bit of a weird strategy call, but unless it was a mistake, because he took the mediums 20 laps before coming into the pits, he might have misselected the mediums instead of the softs or the hards. If you were to do a 2-stop for a medium, surely the either strat would have been to pit earlier from the first medium, so you can extend the second stint. Otherwise, he's only going to get 7 more laps out of this medium tyre, whereas he could have gone a lot further if he believes the medium is the better race tyre. Could be a mistake. Maybe he hasn't read the rules. We'll have to wait and see. But on track, he is challenging for a podium position as it stands. Whether he will keep it, we'll have to wait and see. But the only driver to need to make another pit stop to fulfill the 2 different tyre compound rule.
Yeah, he definitely will do. He's actually caught up to back of you now, Natty. He had a bit of a mistake there. It looks like we're very slow on the exit of the hairpin. Allows the Mazda to get a bit closer. This is going to be our main on-track battle that it looks like. Correa now all over the back of the BMW on the hard compound tyres into turn 9. And you have a move here in towards the final corner of the lap to now make their way down the back straight. The BCR car gleaming in the sunlight, that, sparkly blue there. As Ruben now closes up onto the back. A very colourful grid here, as well has to be said.
Yes, a nice slide from the 2 cars in 3rd and 4th through the final corner. When I was making the standings, actually, we've got quite a lot of dark colours on this grid. We've got a blue, a green, a purple, but still a very beautiful grid, and we're still yet to see a couple of the other cars that couldn't make it for this race tonight. We've got a white and a red Alfa Romeo for our runner-up from last season. I'd say opting for the 4C this year. We've got quite a nice selection of manufacturers this year. I'm not sure it beats the 11 or 12 different cars we had last season, but it's great to see not everyone going for the same car, trying something different. Of course, if everyone's in the same car, you're not really getting much of an on-track benefit. But of course, if you pick something different, you're at least going to have strength in one department on a racetrack, and it's not going to be all down to driver skill, even though that does play a large part in your finishing position. Certainly does. And speaking of driver skill here, we're going to have some defensive masterclassing, I'm hoping, from yourself, Natty, in the BMW now. The car behind on fresher tyres, on softer tyres now, the tyre advantage. Let's see how Natty plays this. How defensive does he have to be? Obviously, the car behind has to make another stop in this race to avoid a massive penalty at the checkered flag. There goes the inside. Natty lets him have it. No, goes to the inside, does defend, as now he goes to the outside line. Can he get the cut back? Can Ruben get the cut back? No, going to tuck back into the slipstream now as they head down the main straight into turn number 1. That's good defensive again to the inside, not all the way though, as Ruben now on the inside into turn number 1. Natty lets him have it, going to try and work it now around the outside. It's like go wheel to wheel here in towards turn number 1. Can Ruben get the move pulled off on the inside? Yes, he can. Has Natty gone wide there? No, stays on the track within the white lines, but Ruben makes his way now up into the podium positions for now, because he does have to make that extra stop. He does have to change tyres. Yeah, I held him up as much as possible before he pursues my new teammate for second place, but of course does have to make that second pit stop. I was unsure at the time what tyres he was actually on, because I didn't see the medium icon change when he exited the pit lane. And so we'll have to make another stop in this race, but of course that doesn't mean that I can lift off the throttle, because there is still another car behind on those soft compound tyres. Can the other Proyecto Uno car make his way up into 4th place? We'll have to see Dominic's progress on that soft. It's a 33.2 for him on the last lap, but dips 2 wheels into the gravel, keeps it in a straight line, 4 tenths quicker than myself on the last lap. Not sure that's enough to catch by the end of the race. The gap about 5 or 6 seconds. Could be close with 6 laps to go when we cross the line.
Another interesting thing just to note here is that Mazda's been working its tyres very, very hard indeed. Kubinski now looking at 6 laps left, but his tyres look finished already. So a long last stint here to the line for Kubinski. Let's see if he can eke those tyres out to the end. Just come back up here to the leaders. Yeah, their tyres also wearing down a lot. So it could actually turn out here that Nat's in a pretty decent position come the end of this race. You just never know. So 6 laps to go here as they cross the line onto lap 27 here. Nat's making his way through the chicane and sausages. We're coming back up here to Veldhuis. He has been impervious today. He's been perfect, like 0 mistakes, really, 0 major mistakes. Been managing the gap back to Tiger behind him very nice. Indeed, he's not really had that much to say because he's not really done that much wrong. So for him, a great start to the season so far. Let's see if he can keep this run up towards the line. That may be a commentator's curse. We'll have to wait and see.
The fate of Maurizio now lies in those comments. And fortunately for us, the race isn't actually live, so we can't have a live impact on these drivers. It's now down to our timing to determine their fate. Kaminsky has been on those tyres for 6 laps, and he's still got 6 to go, and they are past the front, the halfway stage on that front right, and with a slight exponential increase in tyre wear when you get past that 50-60% tyre wear mark, it might not be a comfortable end to this race for him. Cameron Hill might find himself in the hot seat by the end of this race, challenging for 5th place on the racetrack. But of course, Ruben has to make another pit stop in this race.
Yes, it certainly does. We're going to see where that drops him back out. 5 to go now as we enter lap 28. Just not sure if that Mazda has the tyre to get to the end of this one in Kubinski's hands. His front right is very close to maximum wear already. In 12 laps, I'm having a bit too much to push on for those soft tyres. So with Kidwell and Veldhuis going for a 10-lap stints apiece, this could still be interesting come the end of this race. Lapping in a fairly similar range, they more or less matched each other in terms of pace over that last lap, 32.3 for Maurizio and a 32.2 for Kidwell behind him as he is still in hot. Oh, he has a little mistake and he's gone wide and he's on the grass, but he saves it. And I think my replay is slightly behind yours there, so I was going to say. No, there we go. It's a bit better. But yeah, no, almost throws it all away there, this Tiger Assassin. That was very close indeed. But yeah, could still be an interesting end to this one.
I nearly forgot about that mistake, and it was the one that he wanted you to see, especially a lot of heavy breathing from the Brits after that scare wide onto the grass, kept his car in a straight line. Fortunately for him, he does have the gap behind to myself and Ruben to have a couple of these mistakes, but hasn't really put much of a foot wrong up until that moment in this race. He's not picked up any penalties, no spins, no crashes. It's been a good start to the season so far for James Kidwell, running in 2nd place. Kubinski, however, is in a bit of a sticky situation with that front right tyre. 4 laps to go. Do you stay out with that gap you've got to Cameron behind? Fortunately for him, there aren't many drivers on the grid that can take this 5th place away from him. There's a massive gap between Cameron and Kian, between 6th and 7th place, so he could, if he wanted to, dive into the pits and have a go at fastest lap, perhaps.
Position, yeah. He dives into the pits now. There's a chance, there's a small chance he could still chase down Cameron for that 5th place, but the longer he stays out, the lesser and lesser that chance gets, basically. We still haven't seen Ruben come into the pits for a change of tyres, so maybe some reading of the rulebook does need to be done in this scenario, as he now makes his way down the back into the final corner. We'll see if he comes into the pits this lap, to be fair, as he enters the final corner. And he is going to stay out. Yep, he stays out. So at the moment, looks like he's going to firm the 1-minute penalty.
Yes, I said to him this morning when I told him about the rules, if you're going to break the rules, now is probably the best race to do it. Not many drivers on the grid, and still could score some decent points. The pace, though, is encouraging for him, running in third place. It's its debut season, likewise with his teammates, who are running in third and fifth place. So if they can keep this up and use the correct tyres over the course of a race, then they could score some good points and challenge for a high position in the team's championship. It's looking good for BCR and the Cabbage crew in this race. They're scoring... I can't quite work out as it stands who will be scoring the most points. I think Cabbage crew might just have the edge with the 22 points coming from Maurizio's win. Kian is into the pits off for the softs, and will have a dart at the fastest lap attempt. I say that he's kind of forced into the pits with a lack of rubber to that front right.
Right, yeah, fair enough. And now we enter the final couple of corners.
Final couple of corners to the final stages of this race. Maurizio starts the penultimate lap of what has been a very calm Dragon Trail Seaside race, Dragon Trail Gardens race for himself. The weather shining down on him, sun shining, no rain here like there is in the Miami Sprint, as we are recording this, streaming this at the same time as the sprint for F1 is about to get underway. Polar opposite weather conditions here in Croatia, but a little bit disappointed that it didn't rain here tonight. We have raced in this track in the wet, Zav, before. How much different is it in the wet to the dry?
Oh, it's very different, to be fair. GT7 is kind of unparalleled in terms of console games when it comes to the wet weather physics. You do have to think about taking different lines into a lot of the corners. It does make the track a hell of a lot more challenging to complete and to drive around. But even in the dry, this is not an easy track to make. You've seen the drivers make so many mistakes out there today, even with the former world champion making some mistakes as well. Man who's made no mistakes, though, really so far is third place here in the McLaren. Just watching him now through turns 9, 10 and 11 as he now makes his way on towards the final lap of the race for the first race of the season here in FVR GT7. And just coming back down here to other cars, having all fairly spaced out now. There is a chance we could get some lapping of cars in the last lap. But at the moment, then you've got Veldhuizen's first, Kidwell second. Ignore Ruben, he'll be taking a minute penalty unless he comes into the pits right now, which he doesn't appear to be doing yet. So he's not going to be in third place. Ignore him. Natty will be in third place. Hill will be fourth. Kabinski, actually, with his teammate taking that penalty, goes back up into fifth. Either way, but he has now been overtaken by Cameron Hill in the Audi. Keane rounding out the grid in the 8th position as it stands. But yeah, going to just come back up here to Veldhuis because he's been pretty untouchable today, to be honest.
Yes, no one has come close when it matters. He's kept it clean and on the track, which is so important at a track like Dragon Trail Gardens, where there are so many opportunities to make mistakes. You've got 3 of them in the first sector, running wide through the first corner and dipping the wheel into the grass, followed by the sausage chicane, which has caught many drivers out tonight, whether it's running wide and spinning on the exit or cutting the inside and picking up a half-second time penalty. Then you come through the section which our race leaders going through now, where we've had, Jensen Taylor had his spin on lap 3, which really kick-started his downhill spiral to kick-start his championship defence. But Maurizio Veldhuis finished the season strong last season in third place, beating myself and Piero, another driver who didn't finish tonight. But he rounds the final corner for the final time in his new McLaren 650S. And for the first time this season, for the first time in his career, weaves up to the line because Maurizio Veldhuis is a race winner in FVR GT. He wins the Croatian Grand Prix. And it's it's his first podium for BCR in FVR. James Kidwell in second place. Ruben will finish on track in third, but will take a 60-second penalty for failing to use 2 different tyre compounds, which means that myself will come across the line in a podium position to start season 4 in 4th place on the track. Cameron will take that 4th place, having had a bit of a quiet race, it has to be said, in that Audi R8. Kabinski finishes in 6th with no rubber to his front right, punctured at the end and couldn't quite defend from Cameron Hill, but will get promoted after his teammates didn't use the 2 different tyres. A massive gap between himself and Kean, who attempts a shot at the fastest lap. We'll have to see his set split as he rounds up the line. But a bit of a quiet race to the end, but one that's not short of drama.
Oh, certainly not. A very good race here to start off the season in FVR. I'm not too sure where we're going next, Natty. Is it not Watkins Glen? I know it's Songkhla, isn't it?
Yes, Songkhla.
We're going to next out, so it should be an interesting challenge there for the drivers to handle out in France next time out. Duffy crosses the line in 7th place, just waiting on Kean now as he comes around the final corner in that Nissan, and that to the line he comes now, and that's going to round off the first race here for FVR GT. Very enjoyable one packed with drama, where the former world champion dropped out of the race after a spin early on in the Grand Prix, but still a very enjoyable race to watch, and a double podium for BCR after a tough couple of seasons for that team is going to be a great way for them to kick off the season as well.
Yeah, a great way to start the season for BCR, and a great way to start the season if your name's Maurizio Veldhuis, picking up 22 points after 32 laps of racing here at Dragon Trail Gardens. His first win in FVR, and one that has been well deserved. Fantastic pace throughout the race. We'll get a beautiful picture of our race winner and more from a couple of the other drivers after we finish the stream. There you go. There is your race winner. For the first time in his career, Maurizio Veldhuis is a Grand Prix race winner. Thank you for joining us for another action-packed race here at Dragon Trail Gardens. Like we said, we are back once again next week, where we cross over a couple of countries into France for Songkhla A, the first time we will be racing around that track. 3 minutes plus is a lap time, so poses a new challenge to these drivers. We'll have to wait and see how that one fares out for them. I've been Nathan. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Thank you, Zav, for joining me in the commentary box this season. Any final words to say about the race?
To be fair, yeah, great job from Veldhuis there to manage the gap back to Tiger, to capitalise on Taylor's mistakes, and ultimately didn't put a foot wrong, and walked away with that one. As you were saying, that's a very different challenge for the drivers coming up next week, a much longer lap. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. Could potentially play into the strengths of some different cars as well. But yeah, for me, it's going to be pretty much it. And just, yeah, happy to be back in the comms box.
Thank you. And yeah, a new race winner, a new podium driver, and our reigning world champion scoring no points. Stay tuned next week to see how the challenges of Songkhla fare to these drivers, and can Maurizio continue his title challenge, we might suggest at this. Well, it's early to call it, but he started a title challenge pretty well with 22 points. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.